What? It's my turn?
Yeah, sure.
In order? All right.
I don't order to find your logic.
Say what? I can barely walk.
You don't like my order. I said you don't like my order.
Yeah, baby.
You did not walk in here.
Yeah, baby. This is so I can show clean who the honcho is around here. Yeah, baby. Anatomically correct.
What is that? What is that? Your t-shirt?
Yeah, baby. Get over here and stuff a 20.
I gotta go.
Stuff a 20.
You're so sorry about Saturday.
Sure. What?
Did you say anatomically erect?
Yeah, something like that. You guys ain't even right. All right, look. I was wearing that earlier
I had the podium.
and I forgot to take it. No, real quick. All right, you suck. Route 2 with Cherry. No Anastasia.
How about cupcake?
What?
Cupcake.
No, none of that. There's ladies present.
It's like that. That's all your first mechanism.
Okay. Fire Battalion Document 3. Actually, don't forget, do this first. Right. Yeah, okay. Fire Battalion Document 3. Real quick. A summary of the arson report and the unusual conclusions of the criminal investigation. Oh, I can't do it. Okay, alright. Okay, fine. Alright, real quick.
Is there anesthesia in this?
Yes, but never mind, because alright, forget that. Alright.
You got none.
Alright, real quick.
Yeah,
My notes on the architectural and cultural decline of Toledo, chiefly through the influence of one French architect, Charles-Edouard Jeanneret, the hated Le Corbusier. Again last night I dreamt of my lost Anastasia. In my dreams I was a madman arrested for saying that Le Corbusier's architects should all be assassinated. But I alone understood that the post-war industrialists want all original artwork removed from the walls. Only cheap factory-made reproductions can stay. The once great granite skyscrapers of hand-forged iron and carbon steel and windows of hand-blown studio glass will themselves give birth to a generation of sterile architectural monstrosities. The skilled craftsmen who carefully set down the red brick roads and trolley tracks will die in a sudden coronary eruption. No bystanders at the uptown diner will know how to push oxygen through heart, lungs, and brain. And the skilled craftsman himself will have given birth to a generation of asphalt-pouring imbeciles. His own half-witted sons will ladle shovels full of flaming black oil and rock and smother the old city. And this so that jive-talking drunkards can smash bottles and trickle into the street. And what of the sculptors and painters and poets, where their children's children go abstract and soulless? Vomit on the canvas, red spittle in the clay, mock Michelangelo with dysentery spray. No. I alone understood Jeanneret's plans for the city, and this explains my plot and my motive. I paid a millwright to machine a sniper's lead bullet on the lathe, and I traded my sailor's wool coat at a flea market for an anarchist's rusting bomb. You've heard this, but I've changed this, okay. Alright, and so it's reworked and it's new, right?
Sure. Are you on something? Real quick.
I'm on pizza, man.
Pizza?
Yeah.
Little Caesars?
And you didn't get none because you didn't come to open gym night. Anyway.
You didn't either.
Yeah. The Infirmerie Les Enfants. The Infirmerie Les Enfants was formerly a hospital for children, but as the good reputation of the physicians and nurses at the infirmary had been noised about, the most gravely ill patients were often brought there. And in spite of the often desperate attempts of medical science, the infirmary had largely become a hospital for the dying. It was at the infirmary that the mad philosopher Soren K. worked, washing the wooden floors, porcelain bowls and basin, and brass and silver medical instruments. And because he was a philosopher, Soren K. had written books on existentialism and phenomenology. And because he was mad, Soren often blurted out in happy singing while sweeping the floors in the wards of the most miserable and deathly ill patients. But do not think that Soren K. meant to mock the patients or in any way intensify their misery. For Soren was a believer and true messenger of the good news to the world. Soren K. sang the same song every time, and his words became a strange comfort to the dying. A wanderer man, softly twisted in the sand, thin and agile, walked 1,000 miles. A wanderer man, twisted softly in the sand, rib cage is showing on his back, long hair blowing. A sea turtle washed ashore on the sand. His absurd turtle head was a sunken and dead. His turtle heart beating and his throat was no more. His fiery sun-bruised flesh was red and bronze. His absurd turtle laugh, an absurd turtle love, his absurd turtle face of an imbecile beside the wanderer man, softly twisted in the sand. An old salt of Algiers sailed 10,000 years. A wanderer man, twisted softly in the sand, a sailor to side, and he's the Lion of Zion. A sea turtle washed ashore on the sand. His absurd turtle head is a sunken treasure, as a mermaid swooned at the palace of Neptune. The sea turtle's head arose again. A wanderer man, crucified and bled, the ocean of gravy is risen again. A wanderer man, crucified and bled, the ocean of gravy, he has risen again. The wanderer man. You didn't sing along, you bastards.
I don't think they meant by open gym what you thought they did.
Is that your new chastity belt? Is that your night? Open gym night?
It's disturbing. It's disturbing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how you know if somebody in the crowd knows who Fady is. Okay, people who know him are kind of laughing around and shaking their head, oh, what an idiot. And the people that don't are just standing there. For real, I'm just laughing so hard, just looking at everyone's face, and someone look.
I remember the time that those guys went to the tea ceremony.
Yeah, that's exactly the way they looked at it.
That's turned into kind of a legend, actually.
We'll do no thing.
I'm going to explain it.
Yeah.
This one's inspired by, we're reading a novel in English and in Japanese, and the translation in English is way different than the Japanese version. At least the main character is like completely different. It's Murakami's The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles, and so this, I guess that's what inspired this. It's called Translation's Futility. I speak, you speak, he speaks, she speaks, it doesn't matter. How much do we understand? What can we comprehend? How twisted and perverse are our feelings portrayed, not only through words on the page or spoken, hanging in the air, but even our very thoughts, our innermost beliefs and expressions, the very way in which we view ourselves. These each and all are twisted, corrupt, inadequate expressions of ourselves because our words, our language, the very essence we use to define ourselves, our very thought process is not us, cannot represent us or adequately express us because these words, this language is not my language or your language, which means that this reality constructed so much by language, by our words, is not my reality, your reality, our reality, but a fabricated imaginary farce of a reality, of a world, of an existence. Words captivate us, bind us, cage us, entrance and bury us, fool us into believing, into wanting to believe, to accept that they are everything, the ultimate truth, the force which binds us, rules us, drives us. We believe our emotions, ourselves, our words, and allow the words of others to wound us, bite us, sting, and ultimately kill us, even when the fatal words were simply mistranslated, miscommunicated, misunderstood. These words are language, a linguistic construction of society, culture, countries, the world, the universe, and even ourselves is just that, a construction, wholly, utterly, completely, and totally meaningless because words cannot express, cannot communicate ourselves or the truth of our world, our reality, or of anything. There is no truth in words. Even these words are not but a pointless, meaningless, fabricated fake truth, which in the end is not truth, but a lie, another false reality. Yeah!